yoga studio, I would laugh and say, I've probably put more men to sleep without having sex with them than just about anybody I know.
Without having Shmegs with them.
Without having Shmegs with them.
Hello, it's Mike from Twitter. How you doing? Do you dream in color or black and white? That's a good question. Do you dream in color or black and white?
Color.
I would assume it's color because I would have noticed if it wasn't.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. No, I can see color.
And what else do we got?
I have dreamed in Spanish before. Now, mind you, I'm not a fluent Spanish speaker.
That is bizarre.
But I have dreamed in Spanish.
In Spanglish or Spanish?
In Spanish.
And how do you know that you were accurate in what you were saying if you don't speak Spanish?
Well, it sounded really good.
We got more people here. It's Franky from Westfield, Massachusetts. You look great with all due respect. Thank you. You can say that anytime. Well, thank you for that question asked by Doug. Yes. With all due respect.
When people say, I mean no disrespect, and then they disrespect you.
Or can I be honest with you? What are you, normally dishonest with me?
Yeah. Well, let's change it up. Be honest.
Yeah, okay. Like, can I do something different for a change? I've always been so dishonest. Now I'm going to be honest. Right. Anyway, all right. So you want to go? We're going to go back to the fact that we got to do something here. You and I, we got to smack the people upside the head and say, let's get rid of these AR-15 rifles. But I was listening to a podcast that people just come up with a different name for it or a different type of. They'll switch around the parts. It's like a lost cause at this point.
I mean, the fact that an 18-year-old can access 3 guns and in a day without a background check, without a class.
And where'd he get the money? Because they're like $200 each.
Yeah, that's a good question. He probably stole it from his grandmother before he shot her.
Okay then. Hello, Mrs. Elf. Let's just not beat around the bush there. Any other great questions? Anyway, so yeah, it is a big loss, and it's frightening the fact that we all have kids or grandkids in schools, and they can't even go to school. I think I'd homeschool my kid if it was this today. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Oh my God! Andrew said they're $1,500 to $2,000 each. Was the grandmother rich?
I don't know. Well, she's still alive, so.
She's alive. I thought that she was dead. He shot her, and then she managed.
He shot her. Last I heard, she was in the hospital, but I haven't.
Wow.
I can't watch so much of it.
No, it's too depressing.
We try to stay up on all these things, but God, when they're in the news and they're just going on and on about this parent and that parent, and you're just sitting there sobbing, going. I mean, there's obviously got to be a collective sorrow.
Yeah,
that's happening.
My daughter said she was so upset after watching it. She left and she went to take a walk, and then she stepped in dog shit.
That's not good.
Andrew says he spent $3,500 total with 375 rounds. And thank you, Devon.
So somebody responded, but it's moving too fast. I can't.
You guys are moving too fast for us. Okay. Yeah, the world today is horrific. Damn, you're gorgeous. Thank you, Devon. Yes, it's very depressing, but like we said, we're going to try to lighten it up by talking about much more important things like Shmegs.
Yeah, like Shmegs. Like, do you? I always like to ask people how comfortable are you having Shmegs right after you have children?
Yeah, that was the question. We had a big discussion on that on Tic Tac, so I thought let's bring that up. And I never thought about that. I thought it's just common that people would understand that it's going to be hard to have sex or any kind of intimacy right after you have a baby or
Well, listen, let's be real. We have a whole lot of generations of men who don't even know where the hole is.
What?
Which hole is what? I mean, I did our vulva class that last time, and it's like, people don't even know where parts are or what happens.
Right.
They think we get ourselves pregnant, for God's sake.
Well, we don't. I don't know.
No.
Oh, Diego would like to know what is Shmegs. That's another way of saying whoopee.
Shmegs.
I don't know. Tic Tac has a little tendency to shut off if they find the right need to do that. I don't know. Well, we're not even going to go there.
So what I've learned in my counseling of young couples with kids, is that sometimes neither, but mostly the men have no clue what a woman's body is going to go through and how she feels about her body after the fact,
right?
And how long it takes for your body to come back. They think we just it's like when they go in the bathroom and poop, it's like they think it's a done deal, right? You feel better, you move on, you go have another big meal.
Well, our discussion was focused mainly not even like on the actual like 6 weeks after childbirth. I'm talking about like 6 years. I mean, it could take years and years before like you feel like the reason I said it is because we were discussing, someone was saying how they lost their sex drive after having a couple kids, and I was saying that when you have little ones, especially the ones like that are constantly like grabbing at your boob because they want to nurse, or they just want to climb on you, or they just want to, they're constantly on you when they're little, they're insecure or whatever the reasons, they're always attached to you, like clinging to you. The last thing you want is if someone that comes home from work and says, "Let's have sex." Schmegs.
Yeah, I want some of that too. Get away, kid.
Yeah, get away, and that's what it is. It's like no one talks about it. No one says this is a balancing act, A lot of people are saying
it would be interesting to see stay-at-home dads who have that same experience, how they're feeling about their Shmegs life,
Well, a lot of people were saying that if the husband or father helps out a lot, that would make you less needing to have space.
Absolutely. I was talking to my daughters and my daughter-in-law, and they were all saying, that some of the sexiest things that their men do is
doing
like
the dishes. The dishes are cooking.
Say, I'm doing baths tonight, and just say, or split it every other night.
Yeah.
One parent does the baths, one parent does the reading, whatever. It's like it's a shared. The child rearing is not a female job.
Child rearing, yeah, exactly. I mean, in the nursing sense of the world, that it might be, but in everything else, But anyway, it could go either way. It could be that the man doesn't feel sexy because he's doing all the work, or he's, and then you can take it a further step and say, does it have to do with any kind of medications they're taking, or depression, or anxiety, or any other things that are on their mind, too much work, pain of some sort.
The other thing that's happening biologically is that our oxytocin levels are skyrocketing. Breastfeeding raises oxytocin levels.
So you don't need to have your.
So you're like in that bonding, loving mode. And actually, there's been studies on men who spend a lot of time with their pregnant wife or their pregnant partner or their children. Their oxytocin levels go up. And when your oxytocin levels go up, your testosterone oftentimes is suppressed.
And when your testosterone is suppressed, you don't want to have Shmegs.
Right.
Yeah, we just interviewed someone who.
You just want to get cozy.
We interviewed someone for our podcast who was going through hormone, hormone replacement and transitioning. And so she was saying how her testosterone levels dropped so much because she's taking estrogen, and it's causing her to lose her sex drive too. So there's all kinds of reasons for this.
Yeah.
Oh, you listen. Wait, who man listens to the podcast? Yay, all the time. Well, awesome. That's great to hear. And what brought you to the podcast, and what episodes did you like? How's that for questions? I always get so excited when someone hears the podcast. I'm like, woo!
Yay! Look at a listener.
I love it. I like it because then we feel like someone's hearing us.
Well, you put a lot. Those, so
oh my God.
A lot.
We got a lot of stuff going. Hey, Karen, it's Willard. I've been down here in Florida for a month now, enjoying it, working in a vacation. The lady I was interested in is in a relationship. We talked to everything is great. Okay. And Wilson says hi like 25 times here. Okay. Hi.
So one of the classes that I've taught that I absolutely love to teach is called Shmegs Through the Ages. And only when I'm teaching it.
Wait, I got to repeat this for those people Homanda. Homanda. Okay. I had to repeat this for Homanda from North Carolina and all the people that can't really hear what's going on. So Dr. Nancy's a doctor of sexology, and she teaches different classes. And she teaches a class called Shmegs Through the Ages, which is a euphemism for Whoopie Through the Ages. How's that? Whoopie Through the Ages. And it's
like from birth to death. I put it into different life stages.
There used to be a book called Passages. Is it similar to that?
I've not read that book, so I don't know. I'd have to check it out.
It basically is about how your life cycle will go, the changes that you go through in life. But I think it's really relevant to know in terms of what goes on in the bedroom, how you change over time.
It totally is. I was talking to someone recently about how I thought it should be absolutely mandatory that all people take an early childhood development course.
Absolutely. I used to teach that. I used to teach. School. Oh no, I taught that after they gave birth and it was too late.
Right. But it should be taught in high school and then again in college and then again when you're pregnant, right?
So probably
you'll hear it in different ways.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't you ever take a Shmegs class during college? I did.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, of course, you and I were probably the class like know-it-alls.
I was like the star student.
And of course you were.
You know what my professor's name was?
Richard.
Allure Jeffcoat.
Allure.
Allure was her name.
Oh.
I bet, now that I think back, God damn, she was a porn star.
Yeah, you got taught by a porn star. Hello, Nathan.
It was the best class.
Hello, date PM03. Welcome to the Tic Tac fam over here. Welcome to the YouTube family. Beautiful mouth and nose. Thank you. Finally got back. I had a kidney transplant. Wilson had a kidney transplant.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool. I mean, not cool. I'm glad you did it. And where'd you get the kidney from? Oh, Diego says, YouTube showed me this live stream out of the blue. Thank you, YouTube. Whoever you are. Oh, somebody sent perfume. Thank you very much. You just became
perfume.
Yes.
You got perfume?
I got perfume. I don't know. It's probably the part of the 61 cents that I got last time.
Okay, so Karen, what was your experience like after your first child with
Well, let me just say that I was not up for any kind of hanky-panky. At some point, I decided I liked it again.
Did you have a C-section?
I did. I had a first 12 hours of labor and then a C-section. So that wasn't something I was interested in. But, and it's just, it's so overwhelming. But I'm not, that kind of, one time I told him, he said, don't have Shmegs until 6 weeks. I told him put a 1 in front of it. Now, knowing you were ready to pop it out and go for it right after that.
Well, I would have been had I not had a episiotomy. but that
that's a killer. That's
I didn't know better about all the preparation you can do to not need an episiotomy.
Yeah.
And so, geez, then you're sitting on your surgery.
Yeah, I had that too because I had 2 vaginals after that.
Ugh.
I had it all.
Yeah.
And I lived to say I had Shmegs again after that.
The great
Thank you,
doctors
Tic Tac.
now, the OBs now that are the midwives, they do perineal massage, and so a lot of women don't. My daughter didn't have to have a episiotomy.
That's nice.
Massaged, and so that could stretch naturally and easily and not rip. And yeah, I mean, so she was like raring to go in a few weeks.
Okay. Well, for those of you who don't know what she's talking about, I'm guessing there are a few out there that don't.
What's perineal massage?
Yes. Look that up, perineal massage, and it'll teach you everything you want to know about what to do after a woman gives birth.
When you're in labor.
When you're in labor, before she gives birth. Yeah. I just don't want to go into detail here. Wilson said that a friend gave me her. Oh my God! A friend gave him her kidney. That's a wonderful.
That's more than a friend. That's now family.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's kind of family. If you're a part of somebody else, you're definitely linked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a connection like no other.
Yes. Yes. So anyway, Mrs. O said the same changes in hormones are observed in parents who adopt, for the reason some experts say they should be considered biological parents. That's interesting.
I love that.
We like that, Mrs. L. That's
adoptive moms and trans women can breastfeed.
They can get those prolactin. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And at this point, that's a valuable commodity. You can't get formula anywhere.
Hasn't that been crazy?
But you can get AR-15s. You just can't get formula. You see, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, a life with my best friend. Oh my God, that is very Wilson. That is a beautiful thing.
That's gonna make me cry. Stop.
Yeah, we're gonna start crying, and you don't want to see grown women cry. You love the outfit. What outfit?
What you got?
I'm not. My head is my outfit. I don't know what he's looking at. I'm like.
Well, we did see you crawl around on the floor.
I was crawling around the floor. The shirt. Thank you there. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know if anybody can see. I got bitten on my face.
No, I can't see it.
Because I put cover up over it because it's a big red welt on my face.
Did your baby bite you?
I know, not a dog. It was a bug, some sort of insect.
Oh.
Wait, you look familiar. Bennett, that's because I'm a huge celebrity. I can't even pronounce the word. I'm just huge.
Celebrity.
Wilson,
you're trying to make that word appropriate for TikTok.
I'm a huge celebrity. Hi, BBDU. Okay, so yes, Bennett, I look familiar because I've been. Oh, I know. He probably thinks I'm involved in the adult entertainment industry because
with those glasses, you look a little bit like a Nina person. I know.
Yes. I think she has the same glasses. Too funny. Yes, exactly.
So Sherry Ann, tell Wilson that Sherry Ann got the chills.
Wilson, you made everybody. Don't cry. I've had my share of tears here. Wilson, everybody's crying for you here. They're so. And it's funny because I wish I remember the story, but I had a neighbor who her whole family, she needed a kidney or a liver or something serious, and someone gave it to her, and then years later they also the surrogate mother for their child. It was like the craziest story.
Oh my God.
They're interconnected.
Yeah.
Naughty school teacher, LOL. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. I'm a naughty school teacher. I always like to be called.
Every 5 days or so, I have to wear my glasses, and Mark just likes. Oh, you got your glasses on.
Oh, it's like, will you light my
Oh
candle?
my God, think about it. I go, does it make me look smart?
I feel like I'm much smarter. I think I'm not even going to bother. My contacts are so much of a pain in my butt. Anyway,
Oh,
okay. So the other question we had was, there were two
yeah.
questions.
2 parts. Yeah.
What was the other one?
let me check my notes.
I sent her 2 parts that I wanted to discuss with you guys.
Oh, FWBs.
Oh, yes. Okay. We've all had them. Maybe we haven't. And it's like, do you remember when Harry Met Sally, the whole premise was, can men and women like be friends and not have whoopee? I'm wondering if the other way around. Can men and women have Shmegs and not be friends? Is it possible?
So can they not be friends and have Shmegs?
I mean, how do you?
I think a lot of people have one night stands, right? So they're not friends. They're not anything.
Right, but then, like, the reason we brought this up is because we had a little controversy, me and my son, about this on the podcast, Sex Talk with My Mom, hint, hint, the one that this guy was watching or listening to. We're on YouTube now. And we were discussing, like, my son was saying he feels that there's a connection even for like a one night stand, and that it can be too painful because then it's almost like a one night love and then it's gone, and it's like he said, like eating a big piece of cake knowing that you're going to get sick to your stomach afterwards. So
I think it's so dependent on, or this guy is saying, is prone masturbation healthy? Question. Yes, any masturbation's healthy, for God's sake. Okay, so coming back.
It's classic. That was classic.
He's yelling at us with 1,000 question marks.
He wanted to get that answered, and it's asked and answered.
So, I mean, there are some people that are more kinesthetic. So they will be much more likely to experience an energy exchange without even knowing it. Because especially if there's fluid bonding, that can change your DNA temporarily. That changes
maybe permanently. Who knows? Temporarily.
I mean,
if you have a blood transfusion.
The theory is that maybe, but after about 6 months, it wanes. So I think we do need to be mindful of, especially if you're easily connected at the kind of this on the spiritual level.
Right. If you're that kind of person who's very sensitive.
Right. But if you tend to be more in your head, right?
Right.
Or your head. If things can be more just physical for you, but it's more of it's like masturbation with
masturbation.
Right.
Masturbation with another person being in the room with you.
Using a person to masturbate yourself with.
Right. And I don't have a problem with that either, because if
it's consensual,
if the other person's doing the same thing,
Right.
And have you ever done anything like that?
Maybe.
I've done it. Been there, done that. Now, Tic Tac 07 says, depends on the intentions of both people, I think. And that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're agreeing with you on that one. If one, but you never know. I mean, what my son's point was that, you might go in with the intention that there's no connection, and then you get connected, and then you don't want to be together.
Well, some people are more powerful in their connectivity than others, and so I think people like that have to be mindful of who they connect with, because as a very wise man I know stated, that some people can ruin other people because they have that. It's an energy that's really powerful, and it can create a shift.
I understand that energy. I have that energy. So that
Yeah.
so when I've been with someone who has that same exact energy as me, even if we go in, both of us saying this is just a friend thing, there's a lot of problems here. This is never going to be anything more than a friend.
Yeah.
The connection is so intense. It's almost like electricity. Has anybody ever experienced that connection, even though that you're not going to end up in riding off in the sunset together? It's just a question of when you experience it. And I mean, I haven't experienced it with this person in 15 years, but I bet if we were together in the same room after 15 years, it would be the same electricity.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no explanation.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's the same. It's the same goes for like when you meet somebody and you instantly don't like each other.
Yeah,
Like, could that be?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they say that like when I was dating, online dating, and I remember like I saw the guy in line at Starbucks that I was going to meet for a date. And I knew just looking at him in Starbucks that this is not going to work out. And not because he was not good looking or good looking. It was just there was immediate. It was a disconnect.
Yeah, I've always thought that was kind of maybe a past life kind of memory. That you've had an experience with that person.
A bad memory.
Yeah.
That guy was an asshole to me, or I was an asshole to that person. Oh, so Tic Tac 07 says it's crazy how that happens. Yeah. And it's, I don't know. I really feel like every person that you've ever met in your life, maybe you've met them before, or maybe they were meant to be. I don't know. Right now.
So King Ponzai asks, what's the topic? So first we talked about Shmegs after kids, like what to expect, normal, not normal, and now we're talking about friends with benefits. And can you have that? And what happens if you have if you like have this really super deep connection that you were kind of surprised by? How do you handle that?
And also like, I mean, for me, it was I was dating much younger guys. And I knew I wasn't going to end up with a much, much younger guy, because they wanted different paths than I did, vice versa. But sometimes you really connect. Sometimes you just really connect, and even if it's a complete different age generation.
Absolutely. I mean, I think humans are humans, and as we've talked about a lot, the age is just a number.
Age is a number, but yeah. In user 45096 says he loves mature women. Thank you.
What's not to love?
What's not to love? So I did a little TikTok video based on this woman's diagram about different sizes of weenuses, and she was over 1 million views, and she was able to talk about it no problem. And I put it up and said I would like to discuss this, and took the sound off.
What the heck?
It's not fair.
It just doesn't make sense, right?
I don't know. Anyway, but they were saying that the average American weenus is 5 inches.
Yeah.
And I basically said that's nice to know, but what's more important is what you do with that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And what Karen and I have said this a million times, but Shmegs, if you're having a Shmegsual experience with two different genders, you should know about each other's toys. You should know about each other's needs. You should know about each other's anatomy.
Right.
You should know what turns each other on, because too many times guys think that it's all about their schmick, and they forget that they're actually the intention is to be pleasing and to be pleased. So it has to be mutual.
And when you do make the other person feel really good, it's a powerful thing. So it helps you.
But you can't do that if you're just thinking about your own.
Yeah. Or if you don't know anything about the other person. Like I always talk about it in terms of like a car, and if you buy something, a really expensive car, and you don't read the owner's manual, then what do you think's gonna happen?
Right.
You're gonna screw up that car.
Exactly. Yeah, don't screw up your car.
and not in a fun way. Anyway.
Did I ever tell you that when I wrote that book that I have on my website?
No.
10 keys to unlock your woman's sexual desire.
Yeah.
My son, he was in his 20s at the time, read it. I had him read it as an editor, and he read it, and he just went, "Oh my God, this is like the manual to women. I wish every woman came with one of these."
What a wonderful thing. It's similar to me, and my son, when the communication is there, and the non-judgmental quality.
Yeah.
Of being able to say, this is my mom's work. She talked about this, and not only did I approve of it and didn't get embarrassed by it and didn't shame her for doing something like that, but I actually learned something from it.
Yeah, very cool.
Nice.
So this guy asks, can you see a couple of questions up? He's asking about that he wants a friend with benefits.
Yeah, okay. I've been searching. You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Scott, I've been searching for FWB, friends with benefits, but continue to get them runaround, or they end up asking for money, even from women in the same age group. Do you have any advice?
Well,
continue to get them runaround.
Finding them.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Is like, are you on arrangementseeking.com? Because that might be why they're asking for money.
On Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, if you're on just the regular social media sites and you're not, you should be on Bumble, because that's female driven, and you're going to find women that are more interested in connection.
Well, he's saying he wants FWB. He doesn't want.
Well, but women may be on there that are clear about that. Right?
I think that's a good point. Like, so where are you finding these people? Are you looking on like Tinder, where it's more, known to be more of a hookup site, or are you looking more for like eHarmony, which is like a more of like, I want a connection site? It depends. Yeah. Hey, Bryson, you want the book? Which book? The owner's manual? Nancy and I haven't finished. We haven't finished writing. We haven't finished writing the volume 2.
Yeah. But the first volume's on my website.
If you want the website, go to drnsp.com. Right?
drnsp.com.
drnsp.com. She has her book there. Speaking of books,
so what's AFF?
Where's AFF?
Scott Wooten saying AFF.
As funny fuck. Oops.
You're gonna get in trouble.
All right. Better yet, where are the mature women that like younger men? Well, that we get asked all the time.
I think there might be a book.
Oh yes, I know. It requires me moving the dog, who's sound asleep in my lap.
Oh no!
Oh, buddy.
Well, just tell him about it.
Okay. Well, now that I moved him, I might as well show it.
Savannah, tell him about that book.
I know. I feel like let's make a deal. Wait.
Vanna White here.
Here it is. Fuck Games, Date Cougars by KarenLee. If you type in KarenLee, one word, you'll find it. But it's KarenLee Potter.
Oh, Scott says adult friend finder.
Oh yeah. This is why you're finding out that these women want money.
What's the money?
They're not really there to make friends. They're there to make friends.
Try another side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try Bumble.
What? You have a thing for Bumble. Are you getting sponsored by Bumble?
Well, the only women that I know that have had any luck having like really fun meetings have been through Bumble, because they've been in charge of. They're not getting the creeps, and they're not creeps. So,
right. I mean, From what I hear, a lot of younger people are on Hinge.
Are you unhinged or are you hinged?
So
at what age, girl or boy, lose virginity at USA? There's no time limit. It doesn't magically disappear, so virginity is a myth. It just means a sexual debut or schmexual debut.
Yeah,
so,
we like to call this the debut.
Yeah, it's a debut. So people choose to have their first schmexual experience at every age imaginable.
Right.
And there are ages that you don't want to imagine where they didn't choose to happen.
Right. Make sure whatever you do that you're with someone that you feel safe with, and that it's going to be a good experience, and
that you're both fully, enthusiastically, consensually, consciously consensual.
I think you need to be consent.
Yeah, I think I said that twice, but I need to do that.
Bryson says my experience was more like a wildfire. It was more of a first date. Yeah. Okay. Adult friends, Tinder, yeah, sites to look at. Thank you for the compliments on my dog Buddy. He's about a year and a few months old, and he's a very good boy, but he's a little bit of a pain in the neck when he barks all the time. So
Karen, have you had a FWB?
I've had many in my day.
Yeah. So how long were you friends before you added the WB?
Okay. So back in the day in college, a lot of times I'd have friends for like years before we added the other component. One being my husband, even friends for a long, like a year, and then started, making it more of a sexual thing. But I've also had the reverse where maybe I met him and I've been on like, one or two nights, and then we'd have Shmegs, and then we continue to have it throughout the year or two or whatever. But I've had all different relationships, and I think the most important thing is you have to realize that it's very important to be completely communicating all the time, because you can be very hurt if, like, say you think it's just you're on a deeper level and the other person is like, I'm only doing this until I get someone who's more age appropriate or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's so many different configurations, but I think having an age difference makes them easier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If there's a big age gap, they know.
Yeah.
Both of you kind of have this understanding. The older woman's like, okay, I get it. If he's like, we're playing around, we're teaching, we're having adventures together, we're both learning from each other. But there's a time limit, because this person's maybe going to want to have a family of their own, and they want to have, it's just, that is like a non-negotiable. If that's, it's like you have half a baby. So anyway, I'm going to open the discussion. And you guys, if you have questions, we only got about 15 more minutes or 10 more minutes right now. So if you've got questions for us, let us know what those questions are, and we'll do our best to answer them. It could be anything that's been on your mind for years, and we're going to give you that free advice that you never knew you wanted. But we'll give it to you anyway.
I think that's one of the most fun things about my job, and I know you think the same thing, is that we really get to normalize being human for people. And we live in this world where the human things, the incredibly natural human behaviors and
are being suppressed,
and wants and all that, some people try to pathologize them or demonize them and put them into a category that isn't actually where it should be, which is natural human beings. So it's just so fun to tell somebody, no, you're perfectly normal.
Exactly.
Yeah, the rainbow of normal is very broad. And I think you could put probably anything into that category that was mutually consensual and didn't hurt someone, didn't break a law, then, or reasonable law. Because my gosh, even in the United States, well, especially in the United States now, we have some of the most bizarre schmexual laws on the books.
If you listen to the podcast, that's when I do Mom's News. I cannot believe some of them are like insane. Some of the laws that are in even the United States are literally nutsy, especially down south. All right.
Well, if you just look at the laws, you would know the breadth of human curiosity. Like, you cannot have sex with a rooster on the street, on Main Street on Sundays.
But you can on Wednesdays.
But it's like, well, first of all, I want to know who on a Sunday was having sex with a rooster on Main Street.
It is unreal. I wish I still had that article that I was reading from. It was crazy. All right. Let's answer some of these questions from Tic Tac Video 7. What sites cater more to the different age gap relationships do you recommend? I recommend you go on normal dating sites and just put in your age bracket that you want. A lot of people ask us this every single week. Should we go on Cougar Life or any of these things? And I have yet to find anybody who's even met someone on those sites. And I don't mean to be mean. And I was affiliated with them. So they were supposedly going to send me checks, which they never did because nobody joined. So I would say, yeah, you're better off going on a normal
animal
site.
Sex isn't consensual. So I said that's consensual and not harming anybody.
Right.
So having Shmegs with an animal, the animal did not consent.
That rooster didn't consent, I can tell you that.
No.
Maybe the sheep did.
Is it bad?
It's bad.
So 1 time a day or too much? 1 time a day what?
Well, I'm guessing he's saying whoopee. Or he's saying masturbation or whatever he is. And whatever you're saying, we don't have the rule book on that. I mean, there is no maybe we don't have it because we don't know you and we couldn't tell you what's normal for you and what's normal for somebody else. We could tell you that if it feels right, if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad.
This is a key to finding a partner to play or explore with, is to make sure that you have the similar desire. Because if one person wants it 5 times a day and one person wants it 1 time a month, you gotta have problems, guaranteed. Because you're both going to be trying to change the other person,
right?
And that is never okay. It's not fair. So be honest about what your desires are. So when you meet people, you can explore that and know whether it's a match.
Another question: can a guy be too feminine? For who? For what?
What does that even mean?
Bryson, what do you think that mean? What does that question mean? And are you saying is someone judging you? Because that's bullshit. Nobody should judge you.
Well, what constitutes feminine?
Yeah. Okay. TJ Emerson.
That's a social construct. So every human being has a balance of yin and yang, which is male and female, sun and moon, black and white.
If you're Libras like us, we like that balance.
We love that. So every human being has a balance. So, and some of us have a little more of one than the other at times, but it waxes and wanes. Just like that.
But the most important thing is don't worry about it. Don't worry about how much masculine or femininity you have. Just enjoy who you are and be you.
Be who you are.
Because if you're not, it'll end up biting you in the butt. Now this guy
says polygamy is my desire.
Well, go for it.
Polygamy means that you're marrying, one man is marrying a bunch of women. Or polyamory, which means you're in a relationship with a lot of people who have a relationship with a lot of people.
Or you love a lot of people.
Yeah, or you just love a lot of people.
Okay, here we go.
Sharon,
bing.
5 times a day.
This is the gong. I need the gong. Where's the gong? Ding. You know what the question of the day is, right?
What's the youngest?
You got it. I will be asking you, do you think it's possible a relationship between, wait, TJ says, hey, I have a question. It's what's the youngest you can be and get with a cougar? As in, if you're 19, will you still be too young even to a cougar?
Yes.
I hate to tell you.
Unless she's 20.
If she's like 20 or 25, I mean, it's possible.
No, I don't think any woman over 21 is going to want to be with a 19-year-old.
Well, I think the problem is it is legal over 18. That I can say.
But I mean, maybe not in a relationship, but maybe to do them.
Well, I think that's what he's asking.
Oh yeah, you could.
You can do that. If you got game, you go for that 25-year-old. Just remember, your brain is not fully formed until 25, and at this day and age, if you make a mistake that you don't want to, you know where I'm going with this. You make a mistake, it could be lifelong problems. I'm not going to even say why. You just use your imagination.
So, loving more women is normal or cheating?
Samrat, you're only cheating if it's a person that you are in a relationship with that thinks that you are monogamous.
Right.
All right. Peter says, I'd be asking you, do you think it's possible a relationship between an older woman and her 15-year younger junior? Yeah, I'm in one right now. Female's 55 and the male's 40. Peter, anything is possible. Where is that? Is that from Willy Wonka? Anything is possible.
Or The Greatest Showman on Earth. Is close friendships considered polyamorous?
That is an insightful question, Sherry Ann. Thank you.
It's a great question. Because I think you can have be very close friends with people that you really love and that you want to be sexual with, right? So I mean, I think that's a blurry area.
Sherry Ann, I would recommend you listen to a podcast called Multi-Amory.
Multi-amory.
Yeah, you would love it. These guys are awesome. And actually, they have a book coming out. They're part of the network that I'm involved with, and they have a book coming out that's going to be published in the next month or two, and it should answer all those kind of questions.
Yeah, but that's a great question. I think that's really dependent on how each person, because I mean that's the beautiful thing about polyamory is each relationship within the blend of relationships gets to define itself.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking earlier about that whole thing about the friends with benefits and all that. I mean,
yeah.
Each relationship is like energy going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
Energy transfer. So, in some respects, I'm in a polyamorous relationship with you, Nancy.
Yes. You are. We love each other.
We do.
So I think polyamory means many loves.
Poly means many. Multi-amory does too.
Yeah. And so I think I think human beings are designed to love a lot of people in a lot of different ways.
Just like the bonobos.
Just like we are. We're a lot like the bonobos.
Is that Sex at Dawn? What's the name of that book? I think it's Sex at Dawn.
It's the bonobos. It's
by Chris
Dr.
Bryant.
Susie's. Have you ever met Dr. Susie?
No, I don't think so. I was going off of Christopher Ryan, I think. Chris Ryan.
Yeah, but Dr. Susie wrote a whole book on bonobos.
Oh, I didn't.
And I'll talk to you about her. I'll talk to you about Dr. Susie sometime. She's awesome, and she's in LA.
Dr. Susie and I need to get together and talk about bonobos.
Yeah.
So
maybe you and I could meet up. Maybe we could. I have an adventure for us. Okay.
All right. So you guys, when it comes to bonobos, they solve all their problems by having Shmegs.
And the women are dominant. The women are the matriarchs of the culture. And so the women, the females, if two males are
fighting,
started to fight something out,
she'll go.
The dominant female will go over and satisfy them and play with them to settle them down. And the females do that with each other too. If somebody's having a rough day, they go over and they play with each other until they settle down.
What do you think of that?
Resolve conflict with pleasure.
I love that. That's why I think
Can you imagine?
Maybe in a former life we were bonobos.
What would our world look like if we resolve conflict with pleasure?
It would be unbelievable.
Effing guns and war.
It would be unbelievable. But unfortunately, we're not bonobos.
We have a lot to learn from them.
Okay. Can a guy be too Bryson says he has been told that don't listen to anything you're told, except it's me and Nancy.
Yeah.
A woman would want to have a drink with that person.
I don't know who you're talking to, but we gotta talk about that.
And YouTube, Peter and Richard are going to discuss gas prices and inflation. Go ahead.
All right. Well, have a good time.
Oh man. All right, you guys. This has been fun, but it's time to say goodnight for all you boys and girls. We had a blast with you, and we appreciate you joining us. And we are on every week at this time at 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. If you want to reach Dr. Nancy, go to drnsp.com, drnsp.com, and she's got a website there that has a lot of links to all her favorite channels. I have a website too, which I rarely use, so don't fault me for that. But it's basically KarenLee Potter, I believe. But if you go to my Tic Tac, you'll find most of my stuff there these days.
TikTok. And we both have Patreon pages.
And don't forget our favorite people in the world, our Patreon members. It's Patreon, Dr. Nancy, and Patreon, KarenLee. And you'll see some content there that we didn't place anywhere else. So go join us.
And I still have some rooms available for my June retreat. This is my final retreat in Jamaica.
If you want to see, if you want to be up close and personal with Dr. Nan,
the last one of what I'm doing,
join her.
You got to join me and come to Jamaica with me the end of June. If you go to my website, drnsp.com, and look under exotic lifestyle retreats or exotic retreats, you'll find all the information. It's going to be very special because it's a culmination of 17 years of my work with Hedonism Resort in Jamaica. So It's going to be a lovely conclusion.
Sherry Ann, you can still go.
It's going to be the climax. The ELR climax.
All right, you guys. It's been real. I love you all. Oh, you're joining late.
Right. I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Go get some rest, Nance.
I actually have a hot date with my, who is now a senior in high school, granddaughter. So,
oh.
Yes.
That's very sweet.
Yes.
All right. You guys, we love you.
Soon.
Bye.
What are the dates? Okay, real quick. Wait. June 20.